The aliens' laughter echoed through the Zeta Prime shipyard as the battered human dreadnought docked, drawing mocking sneers from the gathered crowds. Captain Lewis Ward gritted his teeth, the UES Indomitable shuddering around him, trailing smoke and debris from a skirmish with raiders. The once proud warship was now a relic from humanity's early spacefaring days, dwarfed by the sleek alien vessels dominating the galaxy. Horus, the Tholian official overseeing the shipyard, smirked at the primitive ship, a symbol of the humans' waning influence. But then a reactor malfunction sent a power surge through the station and triggered an ancient device hidden in the Indomitable's hold. The artifact, a remnant of a long-dead precursor race, pulsed with strange energy, catching the attention of rival factions across the stars. As word spread, the Dreadnought became the center of a growing maelstrom. Tholian authorities demanded the device, claiming rights to any tech in their space. A secretive cabal of alien scientists and a ruthless pirate gang sought to seize it for their own agendas. Captain Ward knew the artifact was the key to immense power. Power to save humanity or seal its destruction. Tensions spiked as the factions closed in, the Indomitable's aging frame groaning under the strain. Outgunned and outnumbered, Ward and his crew had only their wits and the secrets of their ancient ship. The race for the device was on, with humanity's fate hanging in the balance. In the cold void of space, an aging dreadnought would make its final stand. The clamor of tools and the hiss of welding torches filled the Indomitable's hangar bay as Captain Ward's crew raced to repair the battered dreadnought. Sparks cascaded from ruptured conduits and shattered hull plates, illuminating the determined faces of the human engineers as they labored to bring their ship back from the brink. Ward stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the interface displaying the sleek alien ship surrounding the Zeta Prime shipyard. The Tholians were out there, scheming to keep him and his crew trapped, their bureaucratic machinations as effective as any tractor beam. He needed an edge, and he knew just where to find it. "Zara," Ward muttered, his fingers drumming against the arm of his command chair. He had history with the Lyraxian smuggler, a partnership forged in the crucible of the frontier. She was as cunning as she was elusive, and her black market connections could be the key to their escape. The comms crackled to life, and a familiar voice filled the bridge. "Captain Ward, you always did know how to find trouble." Ward allowed himself a tight smile. "Zara, you're a sight for sore eyes. I need your help." "I figured as much," Zara replied, her tone tinged with amusement. "Lucky for you, I've got a soft spot for underdogs. I'll get you the parts you need and keep the Tholians off your back. But it'll cost you." "You'll get your cut," Ward assured her. "Just get us out of here." As the call ended, Ward turned to his crew. "Double time on those repairs. We're getting out of here, one way or another." The hours ticked by, a tense dance of repairs and subterfuge. Zara's team worked their magic, slipping past Tholian checkpoints with smuggled parts and forged manifests. The Indomitable's engines hummed to life, her wounds slowly healing under the determined hands of Ward's crew. But the Tholians were not so easily fooled. As the Dreadnought prepared to depart, a heavily armed contingent of Tholian soldiers, led by the sneering Horus, stormed the docking bay. Pulse rifles crackled, and energy bolts sizzled through the air as Ward's crew fought to defend their ship. The battle was fierce, a deadly dance of fire and steel. Ward's men fought with the desperation of cornered animals, but the Tholians pressed forward, their superior numbers slowly overwhelming the human defenders. Just as all seemed lost, a new sound echoed through the bay, the roar of Lyraxian battle cries. Zara and her mercenaries surged into the fray, their weapons spitting plasma as they cut through the Tholian ranks. The tide turned, and the Indomitable's crew redoubled their efforts, driving the attackers back. "Go!" Zara shouted over the din of battle. "We'll hold them off!" Ward didn't hesitate. He barked orders, and the Indomitable's engines roared to life. The Dreadnought tore free from the docking clamps, her hull groaning as she accelerated away from the station. But their escape was far from clean. Tholian ships swarmed like angry hornets, their weapons lashing out at the fleeing Dreadnought. Ward gritted his teeth, his knuckles tightening on the arms of his chair as the Indomitable shuddered under the onslaught. Plot a course for the Maelstrom, he ordered, his voice tight. It's our only chance. The navigator blanched, his fingers trembling over the controls. The Maelstrom was a death sentence, a swirling vortex of radiation and gravity anomalies that had claimed countless ships, but it was also the only place the Tholians feared to tread. Zara's face appeared on the display, her features set in fierce dedication. I'll guide you through, she said, but you better be ready for a rough ride. The Indomitable plunged into the Maelstrom, her sensors screaming warnings as the ship bucked and heaved in the grip of the anomalies. Ward's crew clung to their stations, their faces bathed in the eerie glow of the radiation storms. Deeper and deeper they flew, the pursuing Tholian ships falling away as the Maelstrom's fury grew. Zara's voice was a constant presence, guiding them through the treacherous currents and eddies. As they pushed forward, Ward and his crew pored over the scant data they had on the ancient device. Fragments of alien text and strange energy readings hinted at a greater purpose, a power that could change the course of the galaxy. And then, like a beacon in the storm, they found it. A set of coordinates buried deep in the device's memory banks, pointing to a hidden installation within the Maelstrom's heart, a place where the device's secrets could be unlocked. But they were not alone in their discovery. The sensors lit up with a new contact, a ship as twisted and cruel as the Maelstrom itself. The pirate frigate of Captain Zek, the Zorgian warlord who sought to claim the device for his own dark purposes. Ward stared at the viewscreen, watching as the pirate ship closed in, its weapons primed and ready. The Indomitable was battered and bruised, her crew exhausted from the gauntlet of the Maelstrom. They had come so far, risked so much, but now the end seemed almost inevitable. He glanced down at the device, feeling its strange weight in his hands. The power to save humanity or to doom it. The choice was his, and time was running out. Zara's voice crackled over the comms, urgent and insistent. What's the play, Captain? We can't fight Zek and survive. Ward closed his eyes, the burden of command heavy on his shoulders. The hidden installation called to him, a siren song of hope and danger. But the lives of his crew, the fate of humanity itself, hung in the balance. He took a deep breath, his decision made. There would be no turning back, no second chances. In the heart of the Maelstrom, with enemies on all sides, the UES Indomitable would make it stand. And the galaxy would tremble. Ward's fingers danced across the navigation console, inputting the coordinates extracted from the ancient device. The Indomitable shuddered as it plunged deeper into the Maelstrom's swirling chaos. Structural integrity at 62% and falling, the ship's AI reported, its synthetic voice calm amid the cacophony of alarms. Zara gripped the edge of a nearby console, her fist clenched. We're pushing her too hard, Lewis. She can't take much more of this. Ward's mind focused as he watched the readouts. The Indomitable groaned, her aging frame battered by waves of gravitational distortion. Conduits burst in showers of sparks, and the deck plates beneath their feet vibrated with increasing intensity. We don't have a choice, Ward replied, his eyes fixed on the swirling vortex ahead. The installation is our only hope. Hours crawled by as the Indomitable forged ahead, each moment a brutal test of the ship's resilience. The crew worked tirelessly, rerouting power and patching hull breaches as fast as they appeared. Finally, a massive structure loomed before them, its alien architecture a stark contrast to the chaotic energies of the Maelstrom. An iridescent energy barrier enveloped the installation, shimmering with otherworldly power. Our weapons can't penetrate that shield, the tactical officer reported, frustration evident in his voice. Zara's eyes lit up. Wait, I've seen something like this before, in the ruins on Centauri Prime. She strode to the main console, her fingers flying over the controls. If we modulate our shield frequency to match theirs, we might be able to slip through undetected. Ward nodded, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. Do it! The Indomitable's shields flickered and shifted, aligning with the alien barrier. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a gentle ripple, the ship passed through the energy field. We're in, Zara breathed, a hint of awe in her voice. Ward turned to his crew. Zara, you're with me. Lieutenant Chen, assemble a security team. We're going in. The away team materialized inside the installation, their environmental suits glowing faintly in the dim light. Alien corridors stretched before them, their walls inscribed with intricate flowing patterns. Fan out, Ward ordered. Stay alert and report anything unusual. They moved deeper into the labyrinth, passing chambers filled with strange machinery and holographic displays. Each room held wonders beyond human understanding, tantalizing glimpses of the precursor race's advanced technology. A distant explosion rocked the installation. Ward's hand flew to his communicator. Report! Sir, it's Zek! Chen's voice crackled through. His ship breached the barrier. They're inside! Alarms blared to life, and the corridors blazed with pulsing red light. Automated defense systems activated, filling the air with energy bolts. Move! Ward shouted, leading his team through the chaos. They raced through the twisting passageways, dodging weapons fire from both Zek's pirates and the installation's defenses. Ward's mind raced, searching for a solution as they fought their way forward. At last, they stumbled into a vast chamber dominated by a glowing central pillar. As they entered, a shimmering figure materialized before them, a holographic alien with elongated limbs and multifaceted eyes. I am Varix, the being intoned, its voice resonating in their minds. You have activated the failsafe protocol. The hologram flickered, and Varix began to speak of the Singularity Core, of its terrible power and the devastation it had wrought. As the alien's warning faded, a violent tremor shook the chamber. The power core, Zara shouted, her eyes wide with realization. The battle must have destabilized it. Ward's gaze fell on the ancient device, still clutched in his hand. In that moment, he knew what he had to do. Without a word, he sprinted towards the pulsing power core. Ignoring the cries of his crew, he plunged the device into the swirling energy. Pain unlike anything he had ever experienced coursed through his body as he became the conduit between the device and the core. Energy crackled around him, tearing at his very being. Through the haze of agony, Ward saw fleeting images, alien worlds, incomprehensible technologies, the birth and death of stars. With a deafening roar, the energy surge subsided. Ward collapsed to the floor, his body broken and fading. As consciousness slipped away, he felt arms lifting him, heard Zara's voice calling his name. Then darkness. Ward's eyes fluttered open to the sterile interior of a stasis pod. Through the transparent lid, he saw the worried faces of his crew. Beyond them, the view screen showed multiple alien fleets converging on their position. The device, now pulsing with newfound power, lay on a nearby console. Ward knew that the true test was yet to come. Come! The device pulsed with an eerie blue glow, its power impossibly strong within its alien housing. Captain's awake! Zara shouted, her voice carrying a mixture of relief and urgency. We need you on the bridge now. Ward stumbled out of the pod, his legs unsteady. Every nerve in his body screamed, but a new energy coursed through him, unlike anything he'd ever experienced. He gripped the nearest console for support, his eyes scanning the tactical display. Status report, he barked, his voice hoarse. Lieutenant Chen's fingers danced across the tactical console. Multiple contacts, sir. 3 distinct fleet signatures converging on our position. We're outgunned and outnumbered. Ward's mind raced, processing the information faster than he thought possible. He saw attack vectors, shield vulnerabilities, and potential escape routes with crystal clarity. Tholians, Zorgians, and... Who's the third? He asked, squinting at the unfamiliar energy signatures. Unknown, sir, Chen replied. They're hailing us. The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a stern-faced alien with elongated features and piercing eyes. This is Horus of the Tholian Empire. Surrender the Singularity Core and your captain immediately or face annihilation. Before Ward could respond, 2 more transmissions cut in. One showed the scarred visage of Captain Zek, his cybernetic eye glowing menacingly. The other revealed a group of beings in pristine white uniforms, their leader a serene-looking woman with silver hair. The Singularity Core belongs to the Zorgian Syndicate, Zek snarled, Hand it over, and I might let your crew live as slaves. The woman in white spoke next, her voice calm but imbued with intensity. I am Alara of the Enlightened. We seek only to study the device. Surrender peacefully, and we will share its knowledge. Ward cut the transmissions, his mind whirling with possibilities. Helm, full power to engines. Get us out of here. Lieutenant Jake Owens's hands flew across the controls. Aye, sir, but where to? Zara leaned in, her voice low. I've got an idea, but you're not going to like it. At this point, I'll take anything, Ward replied. There's an ion storm about 2 light-years from here, Zara said, pulling up the navigational data. If we can reach it, we might lose them in the electromagnetic interference. Ward nodded grimly. Do it. The Indomitable lurched forward, her engines straining as she accelerated away from the approaching fleets. Energy weapons lanced out, battering the Dreadnought's already weakened shields. Shields at 30% and falling, Chen shouted over the din of alarms. The ship shuddered violently as a Tholian disruptor blast found its mark. Sparks erupted from a nearby console, and acrid smoke filled the air. We're not going to make it, Owens muttered, his fist clenched on the helm controls. Suddenly, a sleek vessel decloaked off their port bow. Its design was unlike anything Ward had ever seen, all smooth lines and pulsing energy conduits. Sir, we're being hailed, Chen reported, surprise evident in his voice. The view screen activated, revealing the face of the woman in white, Alara of the Enlightened. Captain Ward, I'm transmitting coordinates for a spatial rift. It's your only chance of escape. Ward hesitated for a split second, weighing their options. With a nod, he made his decision. Helm, set course for those coordinates. Full speed. The Indomitable banked hard, narrowly avoiding a barrage of Zorgian missiles. The ion storm loomed ahead, a swirling mass of charged particles and electromagnetic chaos. Entering the storm now, Owens reported, his voice tight with concentration. The ship bucked and heaved as it plunged into the maelstrom. Arcs of energy danced across the hull, and the view screen became a kaleidoscope of static and sensor ghosts. I'm detecting a gravitational anomaly, Chen called out. It matches Alara's coordinates. Ward gripped the arms of his chair. Take us in, Lieutenant. The Indomitable surged forward, threading the needle between crackling energy discharges. For a moment, it seemed as if the very fabric of space twisted around them. Then, with a lurch that sent everyone stumbling, they emerged into calm space. As the crew regained their bearings, a massive structure came into view. Its architecture was unmistakably alien, all sweeping curves and impossible geometries that seemed to defy the laws of physics. By the stars, Zara breathed. What is that thing? Alara's face appeared on the screen once more. That, my friends, is a precursor space station, and it may be our only hope of unlocking the Singularity Core's true potential. Before anyone could respond, proximity alarms blared to life. Chen's fingers flew across his console. Multiple contacts emerging from subspace. It's the Tholians. They've found us. Ward's eyes narrowed as he watched Horus's flagship lead the charge. The Singularity Core hummed ominously in its containment field, as if sensing the impending confrontation. All hands, battle stations, Ward ordered, his voice steady despite the gravity of their situation. Whatever happens next, we can't let that device fall into the wrong hands. As the Tholian fleet bore down on them, Ward knew that the true test of the Indomitable and her crew was only just beginning. Ward's gaze locked onto the massive structure looming before them. The precursor station dwarfed the Indomitable, its impossible geometries stretching across the star system. All hands, brace for impact, Ward shouted as the station's defense systems roared to life. Energy beams lanced out, hammering against the Indomitable's weakened shields. Lieutenant Owens's hands flew across the helm controls. Shields at 15% and falling fast, sir. Ward felt a surge of energy coursing through his body, his mind racing with newfound clarity. Divert all non-essential power to the shields. We just need to reach those docking bays. The Indomitable shuddered and groaned as Owens pushed her to her limits. Debris and energy discharges battered the hull, as they punched through the station's outer defenses. With a bone-jarring impact, the ship slammed into one of the cavernous docking bays. Silence fell as the defense systems powered down, the sudden absence of weapons fire almost deafening. "Status report," Ward barked, pulling himself up from the deck. Chen's voice crackled over the comms. "Multiple hull breaches, sir. We've lost engines 2 and 4. Life support is holding, but barely." Ward turned to Zara and Alara. "You two, gather a team and find that control nexus. We need answers, and fast." As the away team departed, Ward addressed the remaining crew. "Set up a defensive perimeter. Our friends won't be far behind." The crew worked feverishly, deploying makeshift barricades and setting up portable shield generators. Ward's enhanced senses picked up the faint vibrations of incoming ships long before the sensors chimed. "Multiple contacts emerging from subspace," Chen reported. "It's the Tholians and Zorgians. They're launching assault craft." Ward watched as Horus's massive dreadnought led the charge, flanked by Zek's nimble pirate vessels. "Hold your fire until they're in range. Make every shot count." The battle erupted in a cacophony of weapons fire and explosions. Ward coordinated the defense, his heightened awareness allowing him to anticipate and counter the enemy's moves. A nearby console erupted in a shower of sparks as a Tholian disruptor blast found its mark. Ward's mind raced, searching for a solution as the situation grew increasingly dire. Suddenly, Zara's voice cut through the chaos. "Captain, we found the control nexus. Alara's interfacing with it now, but we need more time." Ward's eyes fell on the Singularity Core, still pulsing with otherworldly energy. A plan formed in his mind, born of desperation and the strange new power flowing through him. "Owens," he called out, "I need you to overload the core. Create a controlled singularity event within the station." The lieutenant's eyes widened. "Sir, that level of power, I don't know if I can contain it." Ward clasped Owens' shoulder. "You can do this. You have to." As Owens began the delicate process of channeling the core's energy, Ward turned back to the battle raging outside. The Tholians and pirates had breached the outer defenses, their troops pouring into the station. The air crackled with energy as Owens worked, sweat beading on his brow. "It's working, sir, but I can't hold it much longer." Ward watched in horror as Owens' body began to disintegrate, consumed by the very forces he was trying to control. With a final, agonized cry, Owens completed the maneuver. A wave of gravitational distortion swept through the station, crushing the invading forces. The victory was short-lived. As the quantum matrix in the control nexus finished interfacing with the core, a blinding flash filled the chamber. When it faded, a holographic figure stood before them, an entity of impossible complexity and grace. "I am Archon," the being intoned, its voice resonating in their minds. "You have awakened the Singularity Core, but you cannot comprehend the power you now wield." Archon's words washed over them, revealing the terrible truth of the core's potential and the fate that had befallen the precursors. Ward felt the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders as he realized what had to be done. "We have to destroy it," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. Zara and Alara turned to him, their eyes wide with disbelief. "No!" Zara shouted. "We can't just throw away this knowledge." Ward's hand moved to his weapon. "We don't have a choice. The core is too dangerous to exist." As Zara and Alara argued, pleading for a chance to harness the core's power, Ward made his decision. He raised his communicator to his lips, his voice heavy with regret. "All hands, this is the captain. Prepare to evacuate. We're going to destroy the station."
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel. And for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.